there are a number of things missing in the original maps when you convert them to the second engine. As you can see right here, we have a nice white texture because it's completely missing tile marble floor. This exists in the original engine, but not in the sequel. I can only assume it wasn't used in one of the 4 converted maps, so they didn't bother to put it into the new engine. The actual textures themselves are pretty easy to fix. It's a copy over into the custom directory that all maps come with, and just change the name. That keeps it away from the away from other campaigns and other mods, so it doesn't get confused. It's best practice to hide everything behind your own directory structure, if you can. Something else that was missing, there was 2 models in total that was missing. One of them was a bookshelf in the bookcase, and the other one was some sandbags. Putting models or moving models over from the old engine to the new one is slightly more involved. It's actually because the directory, or the path here, is actually baked into the model file itself. So you can't just cut and paste it that easily. What you need to do, this is actually the updated map now. As you can see, there it is. What you have to do is decompile the model. There's I found a handy tool through Steamworks called Crowbar, which allows you to decompile the model file itself. And within the model file, once you decompile it, it creates something called a QC file, and that's where the path to the directory is contained. And from there, it's just a text edit into the new new directory path, and that's it, done. And you recompile the model file and shove it back in. The reason I do this is because it keeps, as I was just saying, it keeps the main models directory within the game engine quite clean. What can happen is that the campaigns and the mods can start conflicting with each other, and if you have models or even textures with the same name, they'll try to overwrite each other, and people's custom campaigns can not look as they should do. One of the other problems I was having is with the water. The water is actually in the new engine, with the same name, but when I try to use it in here, as you can see, it's very shallow. It's very close to the tiled surface. For some reason, it just comes out completely invisible. And I've been experimenting around with different water textures, and I tried to copy the original water texture over from the original game, and that sort of half works. It comes up with some errors, which I'm not too happy about. I'll keep messing around with that. I think I found one that I like, which is another one, also from the original game, but it doesn't seem to suffer the same problems. C2M1, it's one of these here. See, this is the one. This one actually exists in the houseboat finale of one of the original campaigns. I think it's Death Toll, and that seems to work both ways. I'm also going to update some of the sewer textures in one of the other maps, Point Insert, so it looks a bit more like a sewer. I've also been adding the new weapons. The crowbar obviously is going to feature quite heavily around the maps. I've got 2 crowbars there, and I put in some chainsaws and grenade launchers as well. I actually thought grenade launchers only had 1 shell in them. For some reason, when I spawn one in my maps, they come out with 30 shells. I'm sure that's not correct. I don't know why it's doing that. It's probably another mod, or from when I've been playing on a server that's altered it. I'll just have to check that and make sure it's not going to conflict. Also here, I've added the Counter-Strike weapons into the maps. Now, of course, this must be for the German version only, but they are just plain entities, and there's absolutely no reason why they can't be spawned in your maps. The switch in one of the mission files, that's so the director can spawn them directly in something like a weapon spawn entity, where it has a choice. If you don't have that flag set, it won't spawn the knife or the other Counter-Strike weapons. But since they're just entities, I edited the FGD file, this one here. This contains a list of definitions which tells Hammer how to handle classes it knows or doesn't know about. And if you look here, I've just added all the Counter-Strike stuff. You've got the Scout Sniper Rifle here, the AWP, and the Navy Assault Rifle. I also added a single instance of the M60 rifle. I needed that for one of my office, so I just added it in. Let's cancel that out. As you can see, it's come up clearly. Also, I've been adding some more randomness to the maps. You might have seen it just here. You got some square boxes where some items used to spawn. This is actually the way Left 4 Dead 2 handles it. It's good to have a bit more variety in the system. So you got, instead of just having a single pipe bomb here, you've got more of a selection. And you got med kits, which now comes out, or can come out, as a defibrillator or adrenaline. And you got a pistol here. My point insert map 4, I've actually had some trouble with that because of the huge rumble effect. These here we go. When you use weapon spawn, rather than just a single type of weapon spawn, the actual weapon comes out with a physics enabled. And because this map in particular has the huge rumble effect, it causes them to bounce and jump all over the place. So for this one, the actual weapons are going to be a static choice rather than random. And this will be copied backwards towards Office at the end. Some other weird things that I've noticed is the sprites or moving sprites, in that they look a bit strange. Sprites are supposed to be single dimension entities. That means they look the same from every angle. So if you have a circle, it's a circle from this angle, and this angle, or wherever you happen to be, without the actual sprite itself rotating. But in the Left 4 Dead 2 engine, it seems to rotate at a weird angle, and it sort of like looks like it's pointing down or up. So I might actually end up losing this anomaly effect here altogether. This is the little thing that moves around, and if you touch it, it creates a panic event. So I might get rid of that. That one's not essential. And for the lift up here, all the way up here, with the moving button, I'll do the same, and I think I might replace it with the hint instructor messages. I think most people will understand how to use this, so it's not a great loss. And of course the hint system, the instructor system, didn't work properly in the original engine, but with this engine, with the Left 4 Dead 2 engine, it works just fine. I've already been doing that for Office. I set that up for the panic events and some other locations around the map, just to help players know what to do. It's a bit neater than having the sprites. I've also started to do some of the navigation mesh files on point insert. Just testing that out to see if I can see how long it would take to get working. It shouldn't be too long. Most everything else works just how I like it. Of course, yep, there we go. I just updated a few other things. Added a crowbar into Gordon's locker room. Of course. Got to have his mighty crowbar. And an extra stash of weapons. That's going to trigger, or that's going to be available 40% of the time, rather than 100%. Of course, because it's got to be Versus compatible as well. You need to have a separate system for that. So on the Versus mode, it'll pick random, and it will stay the same for the other team. So that's what I've been working on recently, and it'll be pretty much the same. Don't see this taking too much longer. Maybe another month or so. Goodbye for now.